We are now in year 2024, and the Giants are still horrible. All right, we've got a lot to talk about today. Before we start, if you guys want to help me support the channel and like what I do around here, make sure you guys check out BetUS and use their promo code YouTube150 on their sportsbook for a 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. It's a great promotion that they're having over there at BetUS, and thank you to them for sponsoring this video. I am sick of having to go through this every single year. I made a video just 2 days ago talking, not even, it premiered yesterday, but I made it 2 days ago. The Giants could not afford to lose this game. You cannot start the year after the year that you just had when you started the year losing to the Dallas Cowboys, who are a formidable opponent, 40-0. At that point, you just gotta kind of clean your hands and say, we are not a good team, right? The Minnesota Vikings are probably the second worst team on our schedule, and we found a way to even fuck that up. Not only did we lose to the Minnesota Vikings, led by Sam Darnold, we lost to the Minnesota Vikings 28-6, with Sam Darnold setting his own personal record of 14 straight completed passes in a row, okay? 14 consecutive. I think it's 14. In typical Giants fashion, celebrating their centennial season in the NFL. A whole century that they came out with those ugly-ass uniforms. And they premiered those ugly-ass uniforms as a historic gesture. Century red is what they call it. Well, I'll tell you what, the Minnesota Vikings gave a ass whooping of the century. And best believe it's the color red. Now listen, we'll get to Jones in a second, but there were a lot of things that happened that was not Daniel Jones, okay? The defense the defense was better than I would have thought they were going to be in the first couple of drives. They kind of slowed down and started to give up more and more as the game went on. Obviously, if the offense is not scoring and the offense is never on the field, the defense is going to get worn down. They're going to get tired. They're going to give up some plays. We already know the secondary is at a very, very big, disadvantage with the inexperience they have there. And the front four, what did they do? Bobby Okereke did some decent job at the linebacker position. Darius Muasau had an interception from a pop-up ball. But besides Dexter Lawrence and the sack that he had early on in the game, what happened? Where was Kayvon? Where was Brian Burns? And this is the problem. I don't necessarily blame Brian Burns or Kayvon, even though they need to go out there and prove why they are top edge rushers in the NFL. I don't necessarily blame them as much as I do the scheme. Shane Bowen's scheme is not built for the Giants. This is not a scheme for what the Giants have on defense right now. It is very conservative. It is all about 4-man rushes and zone defense. The Giants cannot play zone defense, 1, if they can't get pressure, and 2, if they have so much inexperience on that secondary. You expect those young cornerbacks to be expert baiters expert baiters and bait the quarterback to throw an interception off the zone coverage. If you play basic cover 2 zone, which is what we were playing a lot of the time, quarters, cover 2 zone, cover 3, you start playing that and you're not doing any press man, you're not doing any press coverage, you're not disguising coverages in any way, you are going to get lit up. And this Giants secondary cannot sustain being able to coverage for 5-6 seconds every time the ball is snapped. There can't be 4 pass rushers there. I know we have 2 supposed really good pass rushers there, edge rushers there, in Brian Burns and Kayvon, and you got Dexter in the middle, and whoever you want to put there as that second DT spot. but it's just not enough if you don't blitz. At least we were able to get 2 turnovers in this game with the interception and fumble by Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips forced a fumble, first drive of the game by Minnesota, but what happens? We come out at the 20-yard line, dead set 20-yard line in the red zone, and we can't get in the end zone. That has been the problem with the Giants for such a long time. Points off of turnovers. A lot of people like to blame the defense, but when the defense does their job and they force a turnover and they give the offense the best field position that they had the entire game, what do they do with it? They go 15 yards to end up at the 5-yard line, do not decide to go for it, and kick a field goal to go up 3-0. From that time, I knew we were going to have problems. When the Giants struggle in the red zone, I know we're not going to do much because we can't win games just putting up field goals time and time again from the 5 and 10 yard line. You got to have the balls to get up in there on 4th down and punch it in for a touchdown. But the problem is there is incompetence on this offense, on this entire team, and we have to talk about the quarterback. I am so done with Daniel Jones. I am done. I've defended him for years, since his rookie year to sophomore to junior year, and I liked his 2022 season. I thought he earned another year on the team. I didn't. I was not for his contract at all, and it proved to be what it was. Daniel Jones is not worth the contract. Everybody can keep talking about how Jordan Love got 55, how Dak Prescott just got 60, how Daniel Jones is a bargain to what everybody else got. But how is it a bargain when he can't even put up numbers that Baker Mayfield is getting, when Baker Mayfield is getting $33 million per year on a 3-year contract and not as much guaranteed money? And we've got Daniel Jones, a bargain? A bargain? We got ripped off! I cannot count how many times we were live watching this game. I cannot count how many times Daniel Jones, with a good enough pocket, we have had the excuse for years about the offensive line. And the offensive line, although it was not great, it was noticeably better than last year. You cannot keep using the offensive line as a scapegoat, as a crutch to say, well, Daniel Jones didn't have a choice. Daniel Jones had just enough time to make these throws. In fact, he held the ball for a century. And time again, we've seen this man throwing at the ankles of these players. Wan'Dale Robinson, who is already a midget, has to try to catch a ball from his ankles. I can't count. I think it was 2 or 3 targets to a 6'7" tight end in Theo Johnson, and you're throwing at his ankles. Not only at his ankles, but behind his ankles. You're expecting this man to make one of the most acrobatic catches that you've ever seen. Time and time again. Daniel Jones, I've always said, has decent accuracy, but I think he is just so shell-shocked. He has no confidence in himself anymore that he cannot play anymore. He needs a new team. He needs an Evan Ingram, right? Evan Ingram, his time here was over, right? We all knew how talented he was. But when Evan Ingram got a new change of environment, had a new team, can reset, all the pressure, all the expectations goes away. And look at it, he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to lead this team and be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but he can lead this team and drop all that pressure, drop all those expectations, drop all that scrutiny he's under, start over, build back again on a new team as a backup quarterback, and he will be fine. I'm just saying that on the Giants, on the New York Football Giants, his time has come. It is over, okay? There has to be change. Now, I've said on my live stream and on Twitter that if you really want Daniel Jones to not be the quarterback next year and you want the Giants to finally come to their senses and move on from Daniel Jones, he has to start the rest of the season, or at least until he gets hurt. I've had pushback on that, saying if he does get hurt, we pay him a lot of money in that injury clause. I understand that. I will do anything I will do anything to get this man off the team. I don't hate him. I don't hate Daniel Jones. I am just done being stuck with him, okay? I'm done having him as my quarterback. I am done pretending and done having this blind faith in a man that has done nothing for this team, okay? Blake Bortles has done more for the Jaguars than Daniel Jones has done for the Giants. We don't owe this man a thing, okay? We don't owe Daniel Jones a thing. And somehow, we are supposed to have this blind allegiance to this man who constantly is throwing at the feet of all his wide receivers. What else do we need to provide him with to get him to throw a fucking pass downfield? We got him a number 1 wide receiver over potential quarterbacks that can play. We started to work on the offensive line, right? They added in late Greg Van Roten, and he became like a godsend for us, right? We got more talent in here. Jermaine Illuminor, who's way better than Evan Neal. We finally sat Evan Neal's ass down. This offensive line is a lot better than what it was last year. Noticeably better. What else needs to happen for this man to just be a starting quarterback? I don't want to hear any more about Daniel Jones. I don't want to hear any more how we need to stand behind him. I'm not going to be sitting out here. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I am done with Daniel Jones, okay? I may make a video in the week about it more, but I am done. I'm losing my voice. I'm pissed off. Now, the coaching needs to be talked about as well. I mentioned Shane Bowen's scheme already, but we have to talk about Brian Daboll as well. I expected Brian Daboll to be calling a lot better passes and a lot better calls, and he was terrible today. He called so many RPOs, so many design runs for Daniel Jones. I was in awe. 3rd down and 2, empty set. You call a quarterback run, like a quarterback sweep. What the fuck? I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that whatsoever. The running game, we just gave up on it. It was so predictable when the Giants wanted to run it versus when they didn't want to run it. So predictable. That interception, I can half blame Daniel Jones for not seeing Andrew Van Ginkel. That interception for a touchdown. Why would you have a bunch set to the left and you motion Wan'Dale Robinson from, it was to the right. And you motion Wan'Dale Robinson from the left side to the right side behind the bunch set, the triangle set. Everybody and their grandmother would know that is a wide receiver screen if you've ever seen one. There were 2 defenders already on their way to Wan'Dale Robinson before Andrew Van Ginkel got there. That was one of the worst play calls I've ever seen in your own end zone. I mean, crying out loud. It was terrible. It was terrible. I will be posting a lot more content this week. Don't worry, I got some things planned. But I'm so done. I am so done, bro. This was a game that the Giants needed to win. This was a must-win for the Giants, and they did not win. So I have no expectation for them to win another game until they prove me otherwise. I went from 7-10. I went from 7-10 prediction to a 0-17 prediction from this game alone because of the opponent that they faced and the opponents that we will face later on in the season. 0-17 until proven otherwise. But that is it. That is the video. I don't know what else to say. I also lost a lot of money because there's always one team. I bet on the Giants. I bet on the Giants. And part of my parlay. And every other team won their games except the Giants. And then I bet on another parlay. And I bet on the Cleveland Browns to win. And they're getting smoked right now. So that being said, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. I am KB. And I will see you all in the next video. Woo.